cannot be captured in just a few minutes. So it's a 60-year-old non-profit organization headquartered in Pondicherry, a little dot on the southeastern part of India, coastline of India. It was created by Sri Aurobindo Ghosh about years ago. The organization has grown to a big size now. We have as many as 300 centers all over the world. Right now, in fact, we are sitting out of the Delhi campus of Society, which is just next to IIT Delhi and NCERT. It's on an arterial road, which is incidentally named after Sri Aurobindo. So society has made huge contribution all over the country, and more specifically in Pondicherry itself. Many of you would know that the city of Oroville on the outskirts of Pondicherry was created by us, and many of you would have visited the monument of Matri Mandir. That's about the history of Sri Aurobindo Society. And in terms of education, it's probably best to say that it's very, very understated. But we have largest footprint in education in the country today. We have a program called ZIIEI, which is Zero Investment Innovation in Education Initiatives. It is the largest grassroots teacher innovation program, not only in India, but all across the world. As part of this program, we have signed MOUs with as many as 31 state governments of India. And under this program, we have physically trained more than 20 lakh teachers across these 31 states. And the innovations provided by these teachers have been cataloged, benchmarked, and have been adopted by as many as 3 lakh government schools across the country. So the scale of the program is as big as that. So let me share a high-level plan for today. What I propose, to be happening in the webinar today. So I'll take about next 5 minutes giving an overview of Edupreneur Village and the schedule for investment marathon. I'll take another 10 minutes to give an overview about Oro Scholar program of Aurobindo Society. This is a medium through which we can provide you benefit from the huge teacher and student base which Sri Aurobindo Society caters to. So Oro Scholar is a platform to provide you synergies for that scale. And then I'll leave another 45 odd minutes for any of you to answer or ask any questions and us to answer in the best way possible. So in terms of Edupreneur Village, it is the largest edtech ecosystem in the country already. In just second year of its running. We completed a very successful first cycle last year, and we are into the second cycle now. So basically, we do three things. We provide three things to the education entrepreneurs. First, we provide access to capital, which means that we invest our own capital, and we'll also invest through our co-investors who are part of the consortium of education investors who are keen to participate in the edtech journey of yours. Second major thing is access to customer. And access to customer is largely provided through the Oro Scholar program of the society, which I'm going to explain to you just now. And the third major thing is access to mentorship, which is in the form of business counseling program as well as education entrepreneurship program, which are going to be launched roughly late November, early December timeline. So these are the three things: access to capital, access to customer, and access to mentorship, specific to education. So talking about access to capital, the vehicle for that within Edupreneur Village is investment marathon, as you know. We do investment in cycles. The first cycle happened last year. The second cycle is going to conclude by 15th September in terms of the applications, and 30th November, which is when we would have made up our mind on investments, and we would have, in all likelihood, readied our consortium of co-investors to invest in. I know there has been a delay from our side. We have postponed the date by 1 month. The first deadline was 15th of August, but we had to postpone the deadline because a lot of entrepreneurs mentioned to us that they need more time to prepare the applications better. And we had a lot of constraints related to corona-induced lockdown and so on and so forth. So the new deadlines are 15th of September when you have to finish the applications. By 30th of September, we would have finished the screening and we would have sent the invites to entrepreneurs who we want to, prepare so that they can pitch to our investment committee. By 31st of October, we would have finished the investment committee pitches. And finally, around 20th of November, we would have made up our mind in terms of how we're going ahead in investments. So that's about the access to capital for this year. Um, Now, I'll take another 10 minutes to talk about the Auto Scholar program, which is about access to customer. So folks, there are 25 crore K-12 children in the country. But you would be amazed to know that they have hardly any
Hi,
motivation.
Nitin.
Majority of
Hi, Nitin.
and yes,
I am really sorry to interrupt. There are a lot of messages. In fact, there is some disturbance in voice. Maybe if all the participants turn their video off, then the voice quality would be really, really better.
yes. So I request all to turn off their videos, and maybe my video can remain on, and I can switch that off as well. But I would feel that may not do justice to the quality of webinar. So I will continue. My team is asking me to wear the headphones, so I'll do that. Maybe that will help in improving the quality of the.
Yes, I believe you're able to hear me well now.
Perfect.
And Vishika, can you confirm?
Perfect.
Lot better now. Thank you so
This
much.
is much better.
Consideration, yeah.
Also,
All right,
Nitin,
okay.
can you just tell, there are few members who have still kept their video on. Could you just request again on the group?
Yes, could I request folks to switch off their video, and one by one, whenever you have a question, we'll ask you to switch on video and voice. That would help to the quality of conversation. Thank you. So I'll move on. So I was talking about the access to customer through our Auto Scholar program. So you all know we have 25 crore K-12 children in the country. You'd be amazed to know that something as fundamental as motivation to learn or urge to learn does not exist in them. And we don't blame them. We should blame ourselves for our wrong reading of the student behavior. Students are not born to educate. Students are born to play. It's just that we want them to be educated. They don't want to learn. As fundamental as that. So what are we talking about? We're talking of a consumer base who does not want to consume. And we are talking of a customer base, which is their parents. Majority of them do not immerse into the day-to-day learning of their children. So we have a consumer who doesn't want to consume and a customer who is not engaged in the learning process to that extent. No wonder we do not find adoption for edtech products and services at the grassroots. A lot of startups may create FOMO to make parents buy products, but then there is no adoption. The adoption is abysmal because students do not want to go forward and study. It's a very funny situation. So what are we talking about? How can we, create edtech innovation which can be bought and adopted in this scenario? We as Aurobindo Society thought that it is an elephant in the room which nobody is talking about, and nobody actually has a wherewithal to address this problem. So we launched Auto Scholar program, which does a very simple thing. We provide monthly student scholarships of up to 1,000 rupees to any student in the country who would come to our platform and take online assessments. These are curriculum aligned assessments. For every assessment, which is only 10-minute long, a student has to answer 8 out of 10 questions right. And if he answers 8 out of 10 questions right, then we promise 50 rupees of micro scholarship to his mobile wallet. During the month, he can take close to 20 such assessments and amass 1,000 rupees of scholarship amount, which is available in his mobile wallet. And the student can actually use that money to transfer to any bank account of his own, any mobile wallet of his own, or he can use that scholarship capital to pay for education. As you can see, initially we want them to be having a freedom to use that capital howsoever they want to. But eventually, when there is a sufficient ecosystem of education providers, we would want this to shape as education currency, where they can use the scholarship capital to pay for education. You'd be amazed to know that we are already into considerable traction in Oro Scholar. We have about 5 lakh registered students who have taken close to 4 lakh assessments, and thousands of scholarships have been delivered to students to this manner. How does it work? So when a student achieves a scholarship amount, there is an immense achievement motivation among the child and the family. The money does not actually go to the student's bank account; it actually goes to the parent's bank account. So that way we engage the parent into the journey. It is intended to be an open platform where any donor in the country or the world, be it citizens like you and me, impact funds, philanthropic organizations, CSR departments of big corporations, even the state governments themselves, can actually come on the platform, look at the demography of the students they want to support, look at the existing learning levels of those children, commit certain scholarship capital to them. That scholarship capital stays in the escrow account, and from there it goes directly to the students' wallets. It does not come to us. And if we happen to partner, then the students who take those assessments from within your websites or apps, then they can win scholarship capital, and that scholarship capital they can use on your platform. That's the big synergy there. How do we take it to 25 crore children in the country, so to say? You'd be amazed to know that we already have in our portfolio 20 lakh teachers who have physically been trained by us in last 6 years. And these many teachers are also on our apps, which are teacher-based apps, prominent of them being ZII EI app. So we are training these teachers to invite 10 to 25 students in their vicinity on their teacher-student groups. And we are training these teachers on how to motivate those students to take assessments so that they can win scholarships. So it's a big ecosystem of teachers, and teachers are the biggest influencers of students to do this. Then we have MOUs with 31 state governments of India, and we are in the process of making those state governments adopt Oro Scholar, so that we can start scholarships in the name of the chief ministers, powered by Oro Scholar, so that the students can get scholarships. The learning data which comes out of those assessments, massive number of assessments, that learning data feeds into the school systems of the state governments, so that teachers and schools have on their tap learning analytics for every student. We want to create learning analytics almost like Aadhaar. Just like Aadhaar is a repository of identity of every Indian, we want Oro Scholar learning data to become an institutional layer in the society, in terms of, what are the dynamic weak areas of the children, so that anybody in the society can tap into that with the consent of the child, and then work with the child from wherever he is. So this is going to be really, really path breaking. Finally, we also managed to sign MOU with CBSE in November last year. That was a larger MOU in terms of competency-based learning development, but that MOU also has an element of Oro Scholar, through which we can actually make Oro Scholar reach 80 lakh students in the country, which are studying in 22,000 odd private schools managed by CBSE today. So how does Oro Scholar play out between you and us? How can we provide you access to consumer through Oro Scholar? I'll explain that in a bit more detail. So there are two kind of partnerships which we want to have with you. One is host partnership, in which you are the host. And second is the guest partnership, in which you are the guest with us. So in host partnership, where you are the host, which means Oro Scholar API or SDK deep links into your app or website, pretty much like Google Maps would fit in as a widget into your platform, both as branded or white labeled. When that happens, the students which are studying on your products or in your ecosystem can take Oro Scholar assessments from within your ecosystem. And when they take those assessments and win scholarship capital, they can use that scholarship capital on you, which means we are creating this socially funded scholarship mechanism. And the capital sits with the students and they can spend that capital on you. In return, you also get a huge amount of learning analytics about that child, his learning behavior, his usage behavior. And with that learning analytics data, you can offer a variety of products and services to the child. So that's the host partnership. Now we come to the guest partnership, in which you're the guest on Oro Scholar. So as you know, Oro Scholar is on its own also is going to go into places, into all these state government ecosystems, in partnership with a lot of other online apps. Now, if you sit as guest with us, then along with Oro Scholar, you also go to all those students. Recently, we signed up with an app called Riaz, which teaches music through artificial intelligence. How about teaching music to those students? And we are in active conversation with the leading app in US, which teaches children how to speak in English through artificial intelligence. I don't want to name the app because the partnership agreement has not been inked yet, though in principle we have agreed to go forward. So they are going to provide us the assessments for spoken English. We are going to provide scholarships based on those assessments. And students who are going to lag in spoken English are going to be fed the courses which are offered by that app. So, the gamut of things which we can offer to these students is going to be immense. What's the biggest stumbling block in terms of edtech innovation reaching the grassroots? It is the adoption. The children are not able to adopt. Why? Because first of all, they don't have urge to adopt. Second of all is the cost of acquisition of the consumer is so high that the price at which these products can be offered is naturally very high. Now, if Oro Scholar has engaged students at massive level, they can be offered products and services which you guys are creating at nominal cost, so that you still make money, students still are able to buy and adopt, and that creates a win-win for everyone. Guys, just to summarize my my initial primer, the access to capital through investment marathon, access to customer through Oro Scholar program, and we are both processes run parallelly. We invest, we partner, we may invest and partner both. And third is access to mentorship, which is going to happen through business counseling and education entrepreneurship program, which is going to be launched towards end of November. This is the end of my initial conversation. I'll happy to make the floor open for any questions you may have.
Good afternoon, Nitin. Rohan, this side from Pune.
Hi, Rohan. How are you? Can you switch on your video so that everyone can see you?
Hi.
Hi, Rohan. How are you?
Hi. Good.
Can you name your startup? Can you name your startup?
Education.com. Yeah.
Education.com. Wow, how did you get that brand name?
So just there is a difference in the spelling, so else it remains the same. Okay, cool.
All right, okay. That's
I
very
am
smart.
keen, Nitin, on a mentorship program. Could you please throw a light on it, how it works, a mentorship program?
Sure. So you call it business incubation or acceleration or mentorship. For us, it's all the
Absolutely.
same. So how does it work? With this, with all these applications which are coming to us, we are going to work very, very seriously on these and provide you detailed feedback. This will be first of its kind in India. because normally you give application and either you're pass or fail, and then nothing progresses for the people who are not able to make it, and very few percentage of the people are actually able to make it. But we actually evaluate all these applications, give detailed feedback on roughly 12 metrics, and which is both objective as well as subjective feedback. That evaluation feedback will be shared with you, and then we'll invite you to register for the business counseling and education entrepreneurship program. Business counseling program is a short-term program, which may last about a week. But education entrepreneurship program is a 3-month program. And they are the two formats which are suitable to different people. And once this process is over, towards the middle of November to end of November, we are going to open up the applications for that program.
Okay. So
Right. So this is going to be an intense program in which we'll say, okay, this week we do a program on, let's say, sustainable competitive advantage or moat. How do you create moat for your startup in education? And then we'll ask you to do a certain assignment. The assignment means actually to create some part of your business plan. You create that business plan based upon what we have discussed in the moat, and then you submit that to us. We'll evaluate. Then we'll have second round of conversation to explain to you what needs to be changed there, and then we'll have another discussion or a program or a webinar on how do you evaluate unit economics of your business model. To our amazement, things as simple as unit economics are not known to people. You know, what is the significance of unit economics? How do you calculate unit economics in different business scenarios? There are 100 ways in which you can calculate unit economics. And then we'll say, okay, this is how you calculate unit economics for your business. Now you go around to have a plan for a target plan for the unit economics of your business, and in the next week you come back with that. So like that, it will continue week after week after week for 3 months. So that's a long format education entrepreneurship program. We want to have 25 to 50 high potential education startups across the country in that program.
Okay. So just to continue my question, can I opt only for the mentorship program, or I need to get selected and only you will eligible for the mentorship program?
No. So you can apply for that whenever that is open, but the evaluation which will happen will go through these applications. So we have kept two processes: one for the startups who are already in the market, which is investment marathon, in which we'd like to invest and co-invest with other investors. That is investment marathon. Second part is the challenge. The challenge is for idea stage entrepreneurs, and that window and that process is going to be run after the investment marathon is over. Okay. So the process of evaluation is through these hurdles, and once we are able to see through the application, we can decide which ones we can invest in, which ones we can partner, and which ones are ideal fit for mentorship stroke education entrepreneurship program.
Okay, sounds great. Could you help me out with a tentative range of a fees if you have ready with you at this moment, or it changes how it works?
So the details on the prices and the partnership framework on that are being worked out. So we are likely to have it as a combination of a fees and a very minimal sweat equity kind of an arrangement, so that it is amenable to everyone.
Okay, sounds good.
Right. So the details for all of that is going to be announced by middle of November.
Sounds good. Thank you. I'll keep it.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Sir, I'm Kumar Gautam from iqdynamo.com.
So Kumar, hi. Can you switch on your video, please?
Yeah, sir, I'm live from my studio actually. Sorry for the. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
hi, Kumar.
So a bit of introduction, sir. I did my BTech from NIT Trichy, mechanical engineering, and I have seen that Pondicherry location of your institute is near to the beach, actually.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So I worked in DRDO for 4 years as a missile scientist, and then
Wow.
I came to Bangalore to start my education venture. But the my question is not more about investment or the process, because that is already there on your website. My question is about the philosophy behind your working. So the way you told ki we are building a product that the end consumer doesn't want to use, right? The student don't want to study; they want to play, right? Right. So that is one question is regarding that, and another question is you are providing a scholarship to the students as a lalach de ke usko padhana hai. So like that, So my question to you is about the grassroots level of education penetration, sir. How that can be done? The grassroots level of education penetration cannot be done through app or AI. It can only be achieved using a model which generates revenue for the students, the way you are doing for like providing a scholarship, because the real reason is not about they do not have internet nowadays. The real reason is that a student in Bihar, somewhere in a remote district, is not able to learn is because he has to earn, So I'm talking from a very broad perspective. I'm not talking from a business point of view when you sell and you. So we can sell arm immediately, doesn't matter, sir. I'm talking about education as such. So to provide education to really everybody, we need to create a business model where learning creates revenue for them. The question is why you need a BTech degree from an IT or IIT to start earning? Why a class 9 student who is smart enough to build an app, why he's not getting paid, and why we cannot make payments for, let's say, somebody who is very good in class 6 and he's very good at painting, let's say. So I'm talking about education with some education. So now, since starting from in the current age of technology, what I'm talking about is creating courses which make them learn a professional course from very young age itself. Recently you have seen this acquisition of Whitehead Junior. So those kids can learn coding. For that, they need computer. How many people in the country as a student have a computer? I didn't have. So
Right. So Kumar, yeah. So if I were to understand your question, first was a philosophical question that lalach deke padhana was the term which you used. So I would like to pitch in my thoughts here. When a kid from a rich family gets a scholarship to study in Harvard, we don't mind. We feel that, oh, it's Harvard and somebody is giving scholarship and the child is going there. But the moment we talk about money in education for the grassroots, we'll say it's lalach. We got to change that paradigm. We got to come out of that hypocritical mode of thinking about the rich and the poor. So money is a means to an end. Money is not a pariah. We are post that socialist age where we think money is for the greedy. Money makes things do stuff in life. All of us, when we see 10 rupee cashback when we pay through Paytm, we'll bring out our phones and we'll scan the code to get that 10 rupee cashback, right? So that is fine. But the moment we say we are going to provide scholarship to the student so that his parent has incentive to guide the child towards learning, we say it's lalach. So we want to break that mold. We want to say that we want to empower the children, we want to empower the households with money so that they have a choice to spend on whichever education provider they feel is the best for their child. When that happens, there is going to be competition for that money. There is going to be accountability for those stakeholders. There is going to be a gold rush for people who want to to project themselves and prove the learning outcomes so that that the children adopt them. So this is the journey we want to cover. This is the transformation we want to cover. Now, the second thing I think which you spoke about is that people do not have infrastructure at the grassroots. And what are we talking about in terms of AI and tech and stuff like White Hat Junior? So it's a journey. In my opinion, it's a journey. 5 years ago, before the advent of Geo, we were at a certain level. Maybe in last 5 years we have come up 10x. In next 10 years, my opinion is we are going to go 10x from here on. So it's a journey, and unless we start, we are not going to be able to penetrate 5 years, 10 years down the line. And there is stuff about education scholarships which has a bandwagon effect. So if one student gets it, he tells every other student in the village and in the school. Now that community does not maybe have a phone or a desktop. Now what they will do is that child will ask his mama, can you give me a phone for 10 minutes? So even if it's not ownership of the phone, it's the access to the phone. So that's what is the spirit behind Oro Scholar. And I should also share with you the intellectual brain work behind Oro Scholar. So all of you know that Abhijit Banerjee, Esther Duflo, and Michael Creamer won a Nobel Prize last year for their work on micro incentives. So based on randomized controlled trials which they did in Rajasthan, they found out that micro incentives given for a cause directly to the beneficiary has tremendous impact on drive for education compared to free meals or free books. So the Nobel Prize, which was won by Esther Duflo, Abhijit Banerjee, and Michael Creamer, became a backbone for the direct benefit transfer, which we are attempting as a quasi-government body, a social body, because we know this requires fantastic entrepreneurial stuff, which government may or may not do for some time. That's why we are stepping in to create this program for the country. So I just wanted to give that those views for your comments. I hope I've been able to.
I'll not ask any questions there because there are many other people. So, yeah. But awesome job, sir. Like, I'm fan. Okay.
Thank you, Kumar.
Hello, sir.
It's a start of a journey for us. Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
One second before we take up the next question, I would request if you could all please type your question in the chat box. We have a lot of queries, so we will be taking up all the questions one by one and invite you to ask the question here itself. So if you could all please just type down your question, and we would invite you on video to ask your question as well. Thank you so much. Thank you for your cooperation. There have been a few questions, so I would just start going through all of them one by one. Shantanu Gupta had a question about the mentorship program. Shantanu, can you please turn on your video and unmute yourself?
I think Mr. Nitin have kind of answered it already. I was asking about the fees structure, but I think that's not worked out. And there's a second question joined to that. So the application which has went in the current marathon round, will those applications will be steered towards entrepreneurship, or there is a separate application process?
So hi Shantanu, there is no separate application process. The applications which we receive in Investment Marathon and Edupreneur Village Challenge, those applications themselves will feed into the next
okay, I think
program.
One more question which I typed, I think you missed. Is that like in education, do you have a particular theme? Let's say currently people are going after normally STEM, right? Science, maths, coding, right? Or you're open for even extracurricular, non-curricular activities, that kind of startups also. So yeah, I was just.
You asked that question, and Sri Aurobindo's philosophy was integral education. That was his biggest gift to the world. So if you visit our ashram school in Pondicherry, you will not believe that we don't have a curriculum. So education is not about curriculum. These are the straight jackets which mankind has confined themselves to. So for us, education is everything. As I spoke, for us, music is education. For us, playing is education.
Exactly.
Debating is education. It's not books. It's not curriculum.
Right.
It's not new education policy. For us, human life, how you live life is education. For us, even for
and that's so reassuring, because I'm a homeschooling father, and my startup came out of homeschooling my son, 7-year-old son, and
Right.
it's called the Ramayana School, where we teach ancient Indian scripture. So yeah, that's very reassuring.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So glad to hear that question and to be able to answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question was from Diktesh Puri. He submitted the business plan and actually wanted to know about the further process. We have received a few questions on the similar lines. If you can answer that as well.
Yes. As I said, the last date for submitting the applications for investment marathon are now 15th of September. The dates have been pushed by a month. The first date was 15th of August. We are sorry for postponement, but 15th September is the date. And because of the postponement of the application date, we had to shift the date for screening of the applications as well. So I want to reassure everyone who submitted application before 15th of August that all your applications have been evaluated already, and the lists are actually ready with us to be released. But we did not want to release the list before 15th September because otherwise there would be confusion. Some of the people would think that the lists have already gone out and now we don't need to apply and all of that. That is why we have withheld the announcement, but we will do that after 15th of September. And for the applications which we received between 15th August and 15th September, we are going to finish the screening by 30th September. So right after 15th September, you will start receiving multiple lists, almost every week, ending with roughly 30th September or first week of October. And then within October, the process of, understanding what are your pitches to help you improve the investment pitches will happen. And alongside within April, multiple investment committee pitches will happen. So we'll have an investment committee which will involve ourselves as well as our co-investors. So we'll evaluate, and then roughly towards the end of November, we will have made up our mind for investment. And within this journey, we'll also evaluate the applications for potential partnership through AuroScholar, and also the potential for having you in the business counseling and education entrepreneurship program.
Okay.
I hope I was able to answer the question.
Yes, thanks, Anvishka. I think I had two questions. So thanks for answering the first one. The second one was my startup name is learntoupgrade.com, and it's mainly related to the college students, not the school students. So
Sure.
does that be still applicable for the marathon or the mentorship and stuff, or is it
Yes,
only
so
for?
it will be applicable for investment marathon as well as for the mentorship. But today it may not be applicable for AuroScholar program because currently it is for K-12 students. But eventually, the soul of AuroScholar is going to be building skills in society, educating people, in a variety of skills. So that is not going to be confined to K-12. That is going to involve vocational skills. That is going to involve higher ed as well. But currently it is not. So I just wanted to make that distinction.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Diktesh.
Thanks for your question. We've got another question from DigiLux Healthcare, and the question, if you could please tell a question on the video as well.
Sure. Hi, Mr. Nitin. Good afternoon. I'm Sharma. I am the CEO and founder of DigiLux Healthcare, and we are into providing healthcare services digitally, online and offline, in schools primarily.
Yeah, hi there. Yeah, please go on. What's your question?
Yeah. So my question is, if as we are, angel first round funded startup, So once we apply in this, marathon for getting our next round, like pre-series or seed round of funding, so what is the compliances, or what is the outcome of that in terms of whether we can apply, or would you be taking healthcare to be a part in which you can invest in terms of education perspective?
Right. So glad that you asked this question. You will feel good to understand that we have a program called Project Inclusion as part of Sri Aurobindo Society. Under that program, we train teachers across the country to find out the kids with learning deficits, and then we provide tools to those teachers to work with those children. Apart from that, there are a variety of other healthcare issues for children in schools where the society is working. So we do not treat education and health for children as separate, especially within the schools. So we certainly do not have a barrier on that.
And the other part was if as we are a funded startup already, angel round funded startup. So once we apply in this investment marathon, how do you foresee in terms of equity, or how do you foresee in terms of getting it funded in this marathon?
Right. So we investment marathon invest between 50 lakhs to 2.5 crore. Depending on the co-investors which are available, the round can increase a little bit. So that's about the investment size. But I'd say the basic value which we bring on the table is actually investment capital is just the start. The basic value which we bring on the table is actually the synergy and the access to consumer, which a huge teacher and student base which Aurobindo Society caters to can bring on the table.
Sure. And just last thing to wrap it up, if we by any chance don't get the investment as a startup, and if we propose it to you that we would like to go ahead and be associated with the society and pass on, say for example, I'm doing the healthcare part and would like to pass on that to the students. So as you rightly pointed out earlier also, that it could be synergies and partnerships, and it could be a sweat equity. So that is how can we apply for that post marathon?
Yeah, so you don't have to do a separate application. The existing application will be evaluated for three things.
Okay.
One is investment, second is the Auro Scholar partnership, and third is the EdTech entrepreneurship certificate program.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Pleasure hearing you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thanks. The next question is from Avantika Joglekar, and the question is that I have an idea state startup for students with learning problems. Will that be considered for any program of Edupreneur Village? Avantika, could you please turn on your video and unmute yourself as well?
Hi, this is Avantika. I have a problem with my video, guys, so you won't be able to see me. But sir, Nitin sir, that's my question. We are a very early idea stage startup for children with learning problems. So I've actually seen the investment marathon form, and we've tried to fill it, but we are at such an early stage that some of the questions really don't apply to us. So in that case, how should we go about applying for your programs, any of your programs?
Right. Applying for the simple reason that at whatever stage you are, you need to evolve your thought process so that an investment stage startup can be evaluated that way. So that when you do that, you will evolve your thoughts, you will stretch your limits. So do your best. Fill in the information and tell us that you are an idea state startup. So we will evaluate you that way. So we will not evaluate you along with the startups which are already in the market. So right. Do not worry on that. So do your best. Make your plans, make your assumptions, develop your hypothesis, test those hypotheses on the ground. That is the way to go about it.
Right. Just to end, sir. So me and my co-founder, we've been working, not working. She's the founder of a not-for-profit that works for students with learning problems. So in this scenario, where we know with the problems for investment, etc., with the pandemic going on, do you think that a hybrid model would be good, or an out-and-out for-profit model would be better?
So I'd say please do not sail in two boats. And when you sail in two boats, that's the perfect recipe for disaster. You either created for profit or you created not for profit. So the kind of people who can pull that kind of both the things together, that requires fairly evolved kind of organization hierarchy, capital maturity, and it's very very tricky. So I would urge you to decide whichever is best based on your business. I don't know about your business in detail, so I won't be able to comment on it. But whatever you choose only one thing. So
Right.
my brief answer would be, do not go for hybrid. These things look very good on paper, but these things require fairly large amount of capital to be able to withstand the different pulls and pressures which come in physical and online businesses.
Right.
So once you reach a point of, let's say, Byju's or Whitehead Junior or Unacademy, at that point in time you can take a call that, okay, I am going to seek an investment round for physical play. And when you have that money, then you do the physical play. But till that time, I'd urge you to go with the power of one. What is that one thing which you can do well to be successful, and do only that.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. That thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Ankita, for your question. The next question is from Sampath Pemulapati, and the question is they have an app called Kutukit Educational, and they are at the stage where they would offer the app and services for free right now, and they're working in a not-for-profit mode. So they wanted to understand, how does the grant system work?
Sure. So, as part of Investment Marathon and Edupreneur Village Challenge, unfortunately, we are not focusing on grants right now. Um, uh, we won't be able to help on the grant side. But what we can certainly do is to provide synergy through Oro Scholar program, even if you're a non-profit, and also to immerse you into the education entrepreneurship program, which we'll talk about how to make your education business successful. So that's my brief answer.
Okay, thank you so much, Nitin. I just have a few more questions. So I heard your previous response, but like we also have a for-profit, another product and services as a for-profit with our huge user base. In that case, what would be, so what kind of transition period will you be giving us to form into a for-profit and make the service possible?
So are you looking to switch from non-profit to for-profit, or you're looking to switch from for-profit to non-profit? What are you looking to do?
Not for profit to for-profit, because we have certain services logged for, few user base, so things like that.
All right. So I'd say that proof of the pudding is in eating. So if you want to make a switch, then you need to have the structure ready, and you need to have a timeline when you will close the non-profit side. And then the biggest problem is going to be to make the business model work in the new setting. Working in the for-profit side, it is easier said than done, because the consumer behavior, the even the employee behavior changes drastically from non-profit to for-profit. So I won't put a very straight black or white date, but I'd say that you need to have traction on the ground for us to be able to be very clear that your business will be successful in the new mode. So the evaluation will not be that, okay, you have these many users on the non-profit side, and hence you'll be able to do it on the for-profit side also. That is not going to be there. It is going to be evaluated from scratch because the business fundamentals are very different between non-profit and for-profit.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sampath. So moving on to the next question, that's from Arushi Jain. She has a question on valuation of her startup. Arushi, could you please come on the call? If you can turn on your video and unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for this webinar. So basically, someone else also asked earlier that they have an initial stage startup. Ours is not initial, but we only recently started developing, generating revenue. So we haven't really calculated the valuation. I mean, obviously it's going to be an estimate, but since it's part of the question in the application, do you suggest we still do that for it, or is there a way around it?
So I'd say, valuation is dependent on many things. It depends upon the stage of your startup. If the stage is mature enough and you have a track record of revenue, then you are naturally going to be evaluated on a certain multiple over the annual revenue. On the ARR. But if you are a fairly early stage, even if you have some revenue, your valuation is going to be dependent upon the scalability of your business. By scalability, I have only one definition, that your revenues can grow much faster than your cost. Then the multiple which you'll have for your valuation is going to be much higher. But if the scalability is not that high, then in that situation, valuation is not going to be that high, compared to where you are. But I'd also like to say that at these early stages of entrepreneurship, valuation is more like a negotiation. It is not a derivative of the Excel projections as you would like to feel. These are more like negotiations, and then you reverse engineer the Excels, so to say. My suggestion would be to evaluate the scalability of your venture, the unique selling proposition of your venture, how deep and enduring the problem which you are solving for the TG. If you're solving a very deep and enduring problem, which means a lot of users are going to pay. In that case, this is certainly a factor in the valuation. And there are so many other things which implicitly go on in the mind of the investor, which will give you a term sheet. Like how big is the addressable market size, whether it is big enough for a VC to get an exit, whether the market itself is expanding or not, whether whatever you're doing, you're able to create a moat, which means that you're able to create a certain advantage, which will not put you out of business. Let's say if something would go wrong, so there are many factors which go on implicitly in the mind of the investor who's giving you a term sheet. And all these factors, by the way, will provide you detailed feedback, on what do we think is the rating of your business in all those 12 criteria which we have, and also the subjective feedback.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thanks, Arushi, for your question. The next one is from.
And by the way, just before that, I'd also like to say that we are going to mail you the list of all those evaluation criteria before 15th of August, so that you know what are you going to be evaluated against.
Perfect.
Sure.
Thanks. The next question is from Ponchok Norge. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And the question is regarding an idea stage, a platform for vocational training. I would request if you could please unmute yourself and ask your question in detail.
Nitinji, hello. I'm calling you from Ladakh, Leh Ladakh. And actually, I have asked about, I want to start a like vocational training center in collaboration with villagers, village community. So for the youth in the villages. So how is there like you have investment for that also? It's not for like school going students, it's for the elder, let's say like unemployed youth, more on like entrepreneurs.
Sure. So, Konchak, there are basic rules of venture capital investment. So venture capital investment is for scalability, because the venture capital investor is not going to get return from your profits. A VC is going to get return from the sale of his equity in your business. And the value of equity in your business is going to increase if your business is scalable. So if you want to create a vocational center for villagers, it might be profitable, you might have cash flow, but if the perception which comes out is that it cannot be scaled up, because scaling up requires considerable resources. In that case, the equity investment might be hard to come by, but you can create a small business which is giving you good cash flows. But it's not for the VC investor to come in, because he'll not be able to sell his equity to anyone. So I'd suggest equity capital is not best suited for that kind of business. It is more suited for scalable businesses, unless you are able to prove that you will be able to make it scalable. Okay.
There's actually it's in like a new idea, like idea stage, and thinking of actually making the village like kind of self-reliant. It's more, I won't say like more like it's a profitable kind of thing, rather more, helping the village itself to be sustainable.
So why do you want to be shy of profit? Why is profit such a bad word? Why can't profit and social go together?
No, I mean, of course, it's a profit is a good thing. So it should be like, let's say you are, let's say whatever you are making profit should be going back to the village community itself.
Why even that? Why even that? So as long as you're able to address the problem of the PG which you are addressing, that's what you should care for. Why do you want that the profit should go back to the community? Why can't you use that profit to grow? If you are able to help the set of villagers you want to help, why don't you want to help more?
Right. Yeah. Like it could start with my like first village, and then it can be like replicated in other villages as well. So to start from with a like small manageable thing, and then scale it up.
Right. So I'd advise you to apply within our Edupreneur Village Challenge, because that is for the idea stage startups, and we will be able to help you in our education entrepreneurship program, where we could tell you based on the kind of business you want to build, how you should structure the basic tenets of your functioning.
Okay, so the entrepreneurs village challenge, entrepreneurship village challenge kind of program.
Yes, Edupreneur Village Challenge.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
It's just a distinction, guys, between startups which are already in the market and the startups who are at an idea stage, so that we don't be unfair to the startups which are at very early stage.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you. So Anand from Online Academy Creator had a question. Anand, can you please unmute yourself and ask the question here?
Hello. Hello, Nitin. Namaskar.
Hi, namaskar.
Yes. Sir, we have a software as a service for creating a white label LMS website and Android app. So I believe, as you know, we are quite scalable. So I believe we are eligible to do so.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes, certainly so. It depends upon whether you are in the market or not, whether you have grabbed few initial consumers or not.
We have few big colleges and one university rather, and few of the hospitals in the United States.
Perfect. Then you're perfectly suitable for investment marathon.
Okay, but I have a technical problem, sir. Whenever I go to your website to fill up the business plan, I cannot fill up all the fields. Okay, it does not let me enter the database.
Oh, so in that case, I think please get in touch with Beshika. You have problems, then she might suggest a way to send your application offline so that we will help you upload it.
Yes, that would be at least what you want from us, and then I can put it offline.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and last thing, sir. Apart from this, Create Online Academy, we have called myonlineshiksha.com, which is an online course aggregator. It's actually the daughter website of the createonlineacademy.com, generated by the createonlineacademy.com, and we have modeled it as a collaboratory. Okay, so that ordinary teachers and coaching institutes who don't have that capacity to invest in the marketing and advertising can put their courses here, and we share the revenue. How can I put all these things, both the projects separately, or can I club it into one?
So I'd suggest.
I think so separately would be.
Yeah, so I'd suggest put up the application for one thing which you want to get investment for, because the investment group does not like its limited capital to be used in a very diversified way, because capital as such is not into, let's say, tens of crores for you to experiment multiple things.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Sure.
So I will contact Ambeshika ji, and I will take her help to fill up the form.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Anand. We will connect with you after this webinar, and we will be able to help you with whatever query that you have, and also help you submit the application.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Okay, so moving on to the next one. The question is from Manas Kapoor. Can you please unmute yourself and ask the question? Manas, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Manas.
So Manas is there, but I guess he's not able to hear us.
So maybe we can move. Maybe we can move to the next questionnaire, and we can come back to Manas.
Okay. Next question is from Gulshan, and the question is about host partnership. We want to check how can you apply for that, and about it.
Right. So the process for us to invest to partner or to explore for education entrepreneurship is same, as I said earlier. So you just put up your application, we'll get in touch with you to explore the host partnership.
Sorry, I wasn't here. Gulshan, do you have any other question? We can move to the next one. Okay, so the next question from Sandeep Ghosh. Sandeep, can you please unmute yourself and ask the question? I can see that you have 2 to 3 questions that you want to ask.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Nathan, for giving me the opportunity. So quickly, I'm Sandeep Ghosh from ischool.com, and we are solving the core teaching problem, as in making teaching to the creative way and making passion for teaching. Now, my question quickly is, when for the educational product, for the academic-based product, right? I mean, until the product is completely ready, we cannot sell it to the market. And on that scenario, how to validate the product?
Yeah, so it's a very good question. Thanks for asking that. AutoScholar program is designed to help you, provide pilot for your product. So if we partner with you, like you, then your product or your app will be visible to our student base and our teacher base and our parent base. And they can try your product out, and if they like, they will adopt it, they may pay for it, and that will provide validation to you.
Yeah, Nitin, thank you very much. And my second question is, during this situation of pandemic and the government is changing a lot of educational policy changes and a lot of things and giving importance to the early education as well. On this framework, the blending model, offline plus online, is very viable product that we are building up. On that case, how Edupreneur Village can help us to reach to the government school in a large scale and kind of be part of the educational transformation program as a whole?
Right. So as I said, under our Zero Investment Innovation Program, we've already trained 20 lakh teachers in the country under our MOUs with 31 state governments. Our AutoScholar program is reaching out to them as we speak. So each of these teachers are, many of these teachers are government school teachers. So they are, inviting students in teacher-student peer groups of AutoScholar. And then they are asking students to take assessments and win scholarships. And when you are integrated with us in AutoScholar, those very students and teachers are going to be asked to use your product. So that is a platform to reach the government school teachers and students. I'd like to say that there is a considerable percentage of private teachers and students on our ecosystem, but a lot of government teachers and students are also there.
Thank you very much, Nitin. Yeah, I'm done, Abnishka. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandeep, for your question. The next question is from Shubham Purandre, and he has a collaboration with the company and wanted to inquire if the stage is okay for applying to Edupreneur Village. Shubham, could you also please
yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I hope you guys are able to hear me.
Yes, very well.
Yeah, so thank you, sir. So basically, I'm the founder of InProspect Technologies. We are based in Pune. And for this, there is this organization in Maharashtra known as Jnana Prabodhini. Okay, and this organization works with the interactive psychometry analysis. And we have partnered or collaborated with this organization to bring out interactive psychometry tests for the college or school students which we have on our platform. Right now, we have roughly around 7,000 active users on the platform. So we are working with them because those people are, really reputed for this kind of domain. And what we want to do is we want to understand the personality of a student in the core sense, understand his interest, and then recommend him with some kind of opportunities. So having this structure in mind, how can the EV challenge and everything fit into place? Can you just throw light on it?
Right. So I think it fits very well with the investment marathon, since you're already out there in the market, and doing psychometric assessments for the students to understand where do they lie. Actually fits very well with our other program called Project Inclusion, as part of which we want to understand which are the children which have neurodevelopmental disorders. And one of the ways to identify such students is these kind of psychometric assessments.
Right.
So, within our Oro Scholar program, our emphasis is to evaluate the children on their skill level or on their learning deficit level, incentivize them for the right behavior, and then when we incentivize the right behavior, the adoption happens of your product. So I think that's how it works. So
Okay.
can your product evaluate children with neurodevelopmental disorders?
Yeah, we're actually working on it, and we are working closely with that company to come up with this kind of a plan. Right now, we are focusing on the basic stuff, like understanding the basic personality traits, and the further plan is going towards this thing. Okay, the problem which we're trying to solve is like, I being an engineering graduate or any graduate program, I'm not able to understand what is good for me as using my profile. I'm doing all the internships and doing all the other courses because someone else is recommending it to me, someone else is telling it to me that this is really good for you. I am not understanding what is good for me, what is bad for me. Okay, on the other hand, the university schools are having enormous programs for the students to get opportunities. Something is missing, so we want to be that layer which is basically helping the students understand themselves.
Perfect. Let's talk more about it.
Sure. I'll be glad to discuss more about this. Thanks a lot, sir.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for your question. Yeah.
Thank you, Shubham. We have a similar question from Disha Nathwani. The product is again under development and wanted to inquire if we can consider the application for investment marathon. Disha, I would like you to please ask the question in detail. Disha,
we can't hear you.
1 second. Hello.
Yeah, hi Disha.
Hi, hello. So my question actually was, so we have developed a minimum viable product. It is already out in the market. We already have people with us and we have started generating some revenue, but we haven't actually developed the main product. So we were trying the minimum viable platform and then wanted to, make the main website and the app. So are we still eligible for the marathon is my question.
Yes. So you're following the perfect way to go about in a startup. You develop MVP, go into the market, grab some users, and the journey to create a successful product never ends. So it will always be MVP to some, main product to some others. So don't worry about that. You're fit for Edupreneur Village Investment Marathon.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you, Disha. Moving on to the next question, that's from Brainlight Skills. If you could please unmute yourself. The question is regarding a partnership with government for skill development program, and want to ask if we would consider them for investment.
Yes, so anything related to education of any kind is good for us. So we define education not only in in terms of curriculum, but we define education in terms of skill building, extracurriculars, hobby, everything basically.
I cannot see the name of the entrepreneur, but the name of the startup is Brainlight Skills. Before moving on, I would just like to ask if you have any other question. Okay. So I think we should move to the next one. The next question is from MD Unnati. Just want to check if you're here. Can you unmute yourself, please? The question is around expansion to various institutions and areas where funding is an issue.
So could I request the entrepreneur to switch on the video and ask the question so that I can have a better context?
So I'm assuming that he's not here. We could probably contact him after the webinar to consider the query in length and discuss it then.
Sure.
Anveshika, I'm really sorry. My name is Rajiv, and I was just looking at the order of questions, and I think one of the questions after Disha was mine, and I just thought I can bring it up to ask if that's okay, or if you're going in a certain order, I can wait.
Sure. So, I saw the introduction and towards the end also, I could not see any questions, but sure.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to button, but I just thought it should take the opportunity when it comes in. So, hey, hi Nathan, my name is Rajiv, and I am one of the founders of Little Spartans. So we are into the child development space through activity and movement-based learning. So we've developed a curriculum ground up, and we firmly believe that the problem of physical education is currently lacking in India, and it has to be inculcated at a very young age, and it stemmed out because of our experience with our own kids, right? So I was searching for courses for my kids to learn physical education and in a fun way, right? I don't want to ask my kids to go run around the ground for 20 times without giving the context or the ability for them to learn it properly. So as parents, we had a lot of trouble with it, and we decided to take the matter in our hands, and we founded this venture. So we are currently in Chennai. We run 4 centers, and we also expanded our offerings to work with preschools and schools to partner with them to develop our curriculum and inculcate it along with the curriculum. We have served close to 1,000 students in the past 1.5 years in which we've been, almost 2 years in which we've been operational in. So I just want to know whether this comes under the purview of Edupreneur Village, and we are looking to expand our offering. We've seen some good success in the market, and we want to expand it across the country. And we also have the idea to bring in more technology as well to like enhance the physical learning. So not through apps, but through mixed reality. So we've identified technology that will really help us to do this, make children more active, and thereby grow, right? So that's the idea. So I just want to understand how we partner or do this together.
Sure. So Rajiv, as far as investments are concerned, scalability in the business, as I said, is a primary imperative. Now, I don't really mean that scalability can be achieved only by tech-based businesses. I certainly don't mean that and don't believe that. So if you can prove through your business model and the traction you've got that your unit economics really are profitable, and the barriers to scalability won't be there. By scalability, I mean only one thing, which is your revenues will grow much faster than your costs.
Absolutely.
If that is the case, then certainly you're fit for investment. Nevertheless, even if that's not the case, we would love to partner with regard to Oro Scholar and also the entrepreneurship program. In Oro Scholar, as you see, we want to be a default online board of skill assessment or education assessment, and we certainly want the student to take assessment and prove his learning level wherever he's studying. We actually don't want the user to come to us. We actually want the user or the student to study with you. We only want to be an online assessor of the learning and skill level of that child, and provide him scholarship capital, which means money, so that he can use that money on the products which you are trying to sell him. The student has a choice whether he wants to use that money to spend on you or to pay to his school, or to buy candies. So we want to empower the child so that he can make education choices with the scholarship capital made available to him.
No, absolutely, Nathan. And just a question on that. So, say for example, if we again, for us, the current focus is to ensure that we are scaling and scaling efficiently. So for that, one of the most important things, and again, we were a very offline oriented business, and the pandemic has impacted us quite significantly, right? So that proved us that we have to get into a mode where we'll be also have to be a hybrid model. We can't be a pure offline model for us to be successful. So we are working on such stuff. So for us, the most important part right now would be on to establish a process that we can scale, and thereby we need advice. It's also the equity is also, or the investment is also an important parameter for us at this point in time, because the deployments we have to do as well. So I just want to understand the timeline. If we are applying for the investments through the marathon or stuff like that, what is the timeline we are looking at? Because from what I heard from you was from now until April is the timeline for assessment and stuff, or am I wrong there?
No. I never said that. The decisions in relation to the investment are going to be made in multiple steps. One is the screening, which will be done certainly by the end of September. The last date to apply is, by the way, 15th of September. Then the pitches to our investment committee will be completed by 31st of October.
Okay.
And our decisions in terms of investment will come roughly towards the end of November.
Okay. Okay. That's great.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But parallelly, we would continue to engage with you to help you wherever you want, and also explore if we can partner for Oro Scholar, and also maybe explore if the business counseling and education entrepreneurship programs excite you.
Sure, for sure. Thank you. Thanks, Nathan. Thanks, Anvishka.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Rajiv. Thanks a lot. Okay, so we have the next question from Shekhar Shet. And the question is, what is the criteria for selection for startup, and also some success stories? Shekhar, could you please unmute yourself as well?
Nice information, Nitin. I'm very delighted. So I got the answer for a couple of my questions already. So I just want to know a couple of your success stories, and what is the success rate, what you can talk about, and how this scholarship thing works. So is it really a social thing, or it is a kind of discounting or something? So could you please talk on this, please?
Sure. So I'll talk about the second question first, or rather, let me speak about the first question first. In terms of success stories, we've invested in a startup called Scholar. And in the last cycle, we announced investment in a startup called Don't Memorize. With that startup, actually, we have stitched together not only investment relation, but also a very detailed partnership relation. We have given contracts for the video development, and then we have partnered for Oro Scholar, in which we have deep link with them, they have deep link with us. So we've stitched together those relations very, very strongly. In addition to that, as I said, we have partnered with an app called Riaz, which teaches music through AI. And currently, the deal making is in process with them for investment. In addition to that, there are many other partnerships which have been signed and which have been integrated, and all of them are there on our website. So much so for our first cycle, which we completed last year. Now, in terms of the scholarship, let me announce to everyone that what we are doing in Oro Scholar is not a gimmick. It is not revenue discounting, as what is prevalent everywhere. Everyone will say they're announcing a scholarship, they will run an aptitude test for it, and then they will say you will have 20% discount over your over the products which you want to buy. Oro Scholar is not that. Oro Scholar is an open platform where we get millions of dollars of grants every year as Aurobindo Society. So our effort is actually to amass that capital. That capital sits in the escrow accounts, and that goes directly to the students' bank accounts. It is hard money. It is not revenue discount. It is premised on the micro incentive research, which was done by Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo, on the basis of which they won Nobel Prize last year. That if small amount of financial incentives are given regularly to the intended beneficiary for a cause, then the impact that small money makes to that beneficiary is far higher than any other thing. So they, just to share with you, did this experiment on a program in Rajasthan where 10 rupees was given to the father of a girl child if the girl child would go to school for a day. So 10 rupees per day for the girl child's presence in the school. And that proved remarkable results. The intellectual backbone behind Oro Scholar is that work. So it is not a gimmick. It's not a revenue discount. It is hard money.
Okay, so in terms of number of applications expected and how many people will be shortlisted and how many startups will be shortlisted and your previous record of the success rate. Could you talk about this?
So these things are very ambiguous. It really depends upon the readiness of the startup. It really depends upon the synergy which we can create within ourselves. In the last application round, certainly we had created success stories between 10 to 15 startups. Not to say how do you define success is also very ambiguous, because we worked with 50 startups actually over 3 to 4 months to help them prepare better business plans, to be able to refine their pitch, to be able to to help them answer the right questions. So the process itself was a success for 50 of them. Right. So, success means different things to different people. For us, success, first of all, means to help a wide body of startups to become better in their business. The second criteria of success is to be able to invest. Third criteria of success is going to be partner with them with Oro Scholar. Fourth criteria of success is to be able to make successful that partnership. Once that is stitched, can we sustain that in terms of adoption and usage on a day-to-day basis. And then the final success parameter is going to be whether we can help you in the education entrepreneurship program. So there are many points of success here. Basically, it's very hard to come to this much percentage of success, etc. It's very hard because everything is fluid. Startup journey is fluid, and everything is fluid.
Yes, thank you, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Shekhar. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next question, that's from Shovan Das, and his question is if we consider startups at idea stage or proof of concept stage. So, question is about Edupreneur challenge.
Yes, so we certainly do that, but you got to apply for Edupreneur Village Challenge. There is a button on our website to apply in Edupreneur Village Challenge.
Shovan, you're on mute. We're not able to hear you. We're
Just
still not able to hear
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Sorry for the for the interruption. So hi Nitin, as mentioned that I represent a banner called Skylive, and I applied for the investment marathon also under that banner, and we are into improvement in collaboration space, especially in this online education, because certainly kids and teachers are moved to online kind of education, so they have a mental blockage because they used to share the same space face under the classroom roof, but suddenly they are confined into online education. So that actually give us lots of collaboration challenge they face. So our initiative related to that, how we can improve the collaboration while they are getting online education. Having said that, so as like I got the answer that the idea phase or the POC phase, is it like investable for EV? And second is like there are lots of questions I am hearing regarding that the valuation, because as we are struggling in before the market valuation, like we are done only MVP or POC stage. We didn't have the right, didn't get the opportunity yet to validate our product. So in that context, so is it only equity level funding is what Edupreneur Village is providing, or you are also considering for convertible notes also? So that's the two questions I have. Sorry if I take
Yes. So yes. So I think equity and convertible note do not make much of a difference. Eventually, convertible note also converts into equity. So these are just vehicles which are decided based upon the readiness of the startup, based on the stage at which it is, based on the risk assumption which we want to take. So as far as we are concerned, there is no difference between equity and convertible note. Money has to go out from our bank, it has to hit your bank. It's all a matter of comfort based on the risk assumption which we want to take with specific startup. Right. So I have seen a lot many times convertible note being used at early stage. I've also seen equity investment being made at early stage.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So can you repeat your first question? I didn't get the first question
But
very
is it like we are into like you can say we have done our POC, so still we can find ourselves fundable or applicant, right applicant for the Edupreneur investment marathon or not? That's the simple same kind of questions what other people are also asking.
Right. So the yardstick for us is if you have hit the market and you have initial set of consumers, then you're fit for the investment marathon. If you have not hit the market and you don't have initial set of consumers, then probably you're fit for Edupreneur Village Challenge.
But the application is through the same kind of thing, or I have to apply?
Application is going to be the same, but you will not be assessed in comparison to the people who are ahead of you.
Okay, just here I have one more point to add. Like now is like 15th of September is the deadline, then 30th. So as an entrepreneur, or maybe as we are in the driving seat, so we are not restricting ourselves. The current present day, maybe we don't have any consumer or go to the market, but by the time maybe next 15 or 20 days, it may happen that we are going to the market and gather some initial market traction. Maybe not like generating some revenue. Still will be like considerable.
Yes. So you go ahead and make an application in the challenge. I would recommend, and because still you will be in early stages. 15 to 20 days can easily stretch to 2 to 3 months. The initial set of consumers which you will get may not use it, may not buy. So a lot of things can happen. So if you're very early in the market, I think I suggest you may go in for the Edupreneur Village Challenge.
Thanks, Nitin. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you,
So, guys, I can see we are overshooting time by a great deal. I certainly, or we certainly do not have any problem in staying and keep answering questions as long as they last. I'll urge people to be more forthcoming in asking questions. We don't mind answering as many questions as possible.
Yeah, hi. My name is Harsha. I've been repeating my question. So, if you allow, I may ask Anveshika.
Sure. Please ask a question.
Yeah. We have. I'm the founder of International Institute for Corporate Sustainability and Responsibility, And we have been offering our courses to corporates primarily. We have also done a pilot with a Pune based university for college students for full time 2 years MBA in CSR. And we are looking forward to develop the content also for the K-12 students and invest more in customer acquisition. We are already there in the market and offering our courses to companies from public sector to private sector, and have already tested even in the mid-level segment in terms of management colleges. So what are the probabilities to get invested, and which category do we fit in?
Yes, so you certainly fit in the investment marathon category, and in terms of probability of investment, we'll be able to comment certainly once we've had a chance to look at the application, and then we've had a chance to meet you, meet the team, and to understand the broader contours of the market you're trying to serve. So it's very hard to pinpoint a probability right now, to be honest.
Okay, so we'll be waiting for the indicators on the basis of which you invest.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Nitin.
Okay. Okay. Bye bye. I think Anvishika, you're silent.
Oh, so sorry for that. So there are a few people who have posted their questions, but we cannot see them in the meetings. Just in the interest of time, we will note down their question and we'll contact them offline to answer all of their queries.
Sure.
So the next question is from Kailash Monde. The question is that what if the application gets rejected? Can we get guidance on why it has been rejected and other pointers related to this?
Sure, absolutely. So, as we promised, everyone will get a detailed evaluation feedback, which will comprise of both objective ratings as well as subjective comments upon your business. And everyone will also be given an opportunity to undergo our business counseling program and education entrepreneurship program. So, business counseling program is a short format program, and education entrepreneurship program is a 3-month long program. You'll get all three: the evaluation feedback, business counseling program, and the certification program. Whatever you want to pick up will be dependent upon you, but we'll certainly offer all three of you, which together should provide you enough guidance to be able to harp on a journey which will produce success.
Okay, thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you. So we are also getting some messages to contact them. We will be contacting all of you who have sent your details in the chat box, and we will help you and assist you if you have any questions in submitting the business plan also. So the next question is from Rahul N, and he's looking for mentorship before investment. Rahul, can you please unmute yourself and ask the question here? Okay, so I can see that Rahul is not here. The next one is from Jessica Biswas. I'm just checking, and I don't think she's over here. Okay, so the other question is from Arushi Jain again. Arushi, we had answered Arushi's question, so we'll move to the next one. Okay, so the next question is from Vijin Babu S. I'm just checking if he's there or not. Okay, and the question is that they have a sports education startup and want to be part of investment marathon.
Yes, so feel free to do that. We'll be looking forward to your application.
Vijin, do you have any other question? Okay, I think he is not here. Okay, so the next one is from Surajit Sinha.
Hello.
Oh, oh, isn't your
Yeah,
line?
hello.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry, Anvishika. So I was mute. Hey, Nitin, I just want to ask because our company structure is in a partnership model, whether for getting the candidate or anything, whether we have to change the structure to company or any other thing.
Yeah,
Is it needed?
absolutely. For the sake of investment, you will have to create to your entity structure to a private limited one. But for partnership with Oro Scholar program, you don't need to convert.
Okay. So yeah. So yeah. Okay, thank you, Nitin. I think I already applied before August 15th and waiting for your feedback.
Sure.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nitin.
Bye bye.
Thanks, Vidin. Moving on to the next question quickly. That's from Venkat Arvind. He has two questions. Venkat, I would request you to please unmute yourself. We wanted to explore. Venkat, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Yeah, hi Nitin. Yeah, so actually we are a education-based, service-based company. For the last few years, we are working on different products into the education domain. And recently, we have developed a mobile, basically an application which serves the education platform as well. So my question was, there are two questions. Uh, so I will maybe it is interrelated. So basically, I was looking into the Oro Scholar program, where how we can get into the partnership with the Oro Scholar program with the app that or the application that we are developing. So is it the process is only through the entrepreneur program that right now that is going through, or is there is any other mode that we have to go?
Yes, so this is the process for us to, find out the startups in which we could invest, or we could partner for Oro Scholar program, or we could explore the education certification program. So we have one singular process for all three. So go ahead, complete your application. Our team will reach out to you for exploring partnership, or you can write directly to Anveshika, and then we'll reach out to you to explore how we can partner. So partnership for us is very simple. There are standardized kind of agreements based on whether we feel that we are fit for host partnership or guest partnership. We'll go ahead with that. The integration process might take about 1 to 2 weeks, and we'll be up.
Okay. 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 So is there is any specific criteria while doing the integration? Means in order to get what the current user base you have as a faculty and also the current user base as a student you will be having. So whatever the application that we are getting into your platform, is there is any specific criteria that you will be limiting based on the application that we design, or how the marketplace really you will be pushing into the huge user base that you will be having?
Right. So first of all, it's not a marketplace.
Okay.
The host partnership is really about your student taking scholarship capital from within your app and then spending that money on your app. That's host partnership. And in return, we'll give whole host of learning data about the child and tools to use so that you can engage with the child for learning better and better. That is host partnership. Insofar as guest partnership is concerned, where you are guest in our platform, so we'll really have to understand what is it that you're offering. Is that unique? Is that bloody good? Is that is that solving a fundamental problem for the consumer base or not, or students of the country at large or not? And then we'll be able to strike a guest partnership. So it's not really a marketplace. It's a curated marketplace as far as guest partnership is concerned, and it is insofar as host partnership is concerned, we're really happy to offer the value of scholarship capital and learning data about the child to you, so that you can influence lot of learning and purchase behaviors of your children.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Venkat. We just have a couple of questions left, about 3-4 of them. Next one is from Varun Arla, and Varun wanted to check about the Idea Stage Marathon or the Edupreneur Village Challenge. Varun, could you please ask a question in detail on the on mic? Varun, can you hear me? I saw Varun here. I don't think he's able to hear us. Okay. So Varun's audio is not working. Varun, we would contact you after the webinar and we'll answer your queries there. Okay, so moving on to the next question, that's from Diksha Singh. Diksha has a question that what should be the founders looking while trying to find co-founders, and what is it that investors are looking in the team at seed stage?
All right. So I'm glad this question finally came, because the discussion would be, half complete without this question. What are investors looking at the founders? They're looking at complementarity, and they're looking at cohesion. Entrepreneurship is a very difficult journey. You need a shoulder to cry on all the time, and if you don't have a shoulder to cry on, then it's very likely that you will feel so lonely in the journey. So companionship is certainly a plus. To your question of how best you can find a co-founder, well, my take on that is that you got to have natural co-founders. You cannot discover a co-founder by a search. You're Pauls. You're either co-founders or you're not. The artificial discovery of co-founder normally does not work. You may have a few outliers who found each other that way, but normally it does not work. It is about right to exist. The investment decision in the mind of investors is about two rights basically. One is right to exist, and second is right to win. Okay, a right to win is about, can you build a unique advantage which will not kill you, whatever it may be, in the future. That is right to win. That's about creating a moat. But more important than that is about right to exist. Whether you as a team are complementary to each other, whether you are Pauls, and whether you can create success out of it. That is the singular most important factor in the investment decision. Okay, so my take on that is going to be natural co-founders, complementary skills, a capacity to withstand the duress over a considerable period of time. If you are a team which cannot digest going without salary, or undertaking sacrifices, or having this double whammy of not having corporate salary, and still going ahead with it, and also losing your own money in the journey. If you can't digest this pain, then it's highly likely that one of the founders will quit. And if one of the founders quits, the team falls apart. And that's the biggest worry in the mind of the investor. So I would reckon three things. Okay, natural co-founders, complementary skills, and ability to withstand duress over considerable period of time as three factors of evaluation.
Thank you for the answer. So I also wanted to know if I can update the application which I sent like long back.
Yes, you can always create a fresh account with a new email ID and create a fresh application.
Okay, perfect. All right. So that would be the way. So not we cannot go and update the previous application.
So I'll advise you not to do that because it may have been evaluated already, and it may have been in cold storage, so we don't know. So
okay,
it's better you put up a fresh application.
All right, sure.
Thanks, Diksha, for your question. We had a similar question from Vaishnav, who had submitted the application but wanted to make some more additions to that. Vaishnav, I hope that answered your question as well.
Yeah. So I think now it's time to wrap up. We've done our best to answer as many questions as possible. Maybe we can take a couple of more at the most, and then I'll request everyone to write their questions to us. We'll do our best to come back to you with the answers. But I'm happy to take two more.
So we've got one last question with us. That's from Srinivasa Reddy. The question is if they can get any technical help for design and for investors.
Does that mean help on technology, or does that mean help in technicalities of financial projections and business plan creation?
Srinivas, can you please ask a question on
right? Right. So I think I'll answer in both the scenarios. So we strongly feel that product is really the domain of the founder. If he cannot create, if he does not know how to create the tech to provide the offering in the market, then probably he's in the wrong place. This is one of the fundamental aspects of of being a founder. Whatever product you're creating, you got to be able to create it yourself. At least one of the founders needs to have the skills to create technology for that product. Otherwise it'll be very difficult for you to create a successful product unless you have plenty of money that you can have army of product developers, which is not the case, which may not be the case. On the second part, we certainly will provide the end-to-end help which is required to create a successful business plan, be it what works in education, what works with the TG which you're trying to cater, what is required to be done in terms of business planning, what is required to be done in terms of putting down financial numbers, what is required to be done to be able to make a successful pitch in front of the investment committee. All of that help we are going to provide.
Thanks for answering that in detail. I hope that answers the question that was being asked. So we've got one last question from Pawan GS, and the question is that can EdTech company training professionals be eligible for the current round?
Yes, definitely we are gung-ho about corporate education. So feel free to put up your application there.
So we've answered all the questions. There were a few questions and we could not locate the entrepreneur who had asked that question. So we'll be connecting with all, offline as well. So I think that we have answered all questions.
Right. So Gents and ladies, boys and girls, big thanks for your patience and staying through the course. We certainly enjoyed hearing your questions and answering them. I hope whatever we were able to comment upon was of use to you. Feel free to go ahead and put up your applications. Do not restrict your thinking in any way, because in most cases I have seen that we are only limited by our own thinking. So go ahead, play on the front foot. We are certainly keen to explore all three dimensions. Investment, partnership with Oro Scholar to provide you consumer, and also to provide you mentorship through business counseling and education entrepreneurship program of ours. So all the best. Look forward to meeting you physically or through an e-meet. And let's work towards creating as many success stories as possible through this journey. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye bye.